There are riots happening all over France. But this time, not for the old reason. This time for an incredibly American reason, as a matter of fact. Police brutality. A teenager, an Arab teenager as far as I understand, was shot dead by the police, and everyone is up in arms over it. In a lot of other countries, police killing a citizen, or just anyone really, is often a unique circumstance. This time, the teenager was 16 years old.
Over the fatal police shooting of a teenager. You are seeing his mother right there leading a tribute march a short while ago. The boy, identified by authorities
17, sorry.
M, is reported to be of North African descent. The shooting happened during a traffic stop on Tuesday in Nanterre, a working-class town on the outskirts of Paris. French officials say the officer who shot and killed the 17-year-old acted, quote, illegally. We're now learning that the officer has been put under formal investigation for voluntary homicide. Well, protesters have set fire to several cars.
That's crazy.
French President Emmanuel Macron calling the shooting unjustifiable while also condemning the unrest. Our Paris correspondent Melissa Bell has more.
Cars.
Wait, the police immediately said this was crazy? They didn't say we got to review the body camera footage and then like they lied at first? Okay, so I don't know the exact details of this, but the timeline here is pretty swift for the United States of America by US standards, which is the worst in the world. Not just the developed world, but the developing world even. Yeah, they lied until a video came out. Initially, the officers claimed the driver rammed them. Is that what it is? I'm trying to learn every single minute detail about what led to a bunch of fucking French cops to behave like an American cop. I want to know what they did.
This morning, France is waking up after another night of clashes around the country. The smell of tear gas still lingers. This is not going to end easily. And why? Well, because this area and all of France has now seen that video of a French police officer shooting a teenager in a car just a mile or so from where I'm standing. Now that has been condemned by the president, by the interior minister, by prominent individuals, including Kylian Mbappe, the super famous French footballer who grew up also in a French suburb. And what has happened is
the reason why I wanted to know this was because of the people in the chat literally shooting their mouths off in the most racist ways possible. Now, are they all personally racist? Are they French type racists who are like, well, he was Algerian, so clearly, you know, that's why he was driving irresponsibly? No, I don't think so. I think they're just the regular type of racist that hears other actually super white nationalist French people literally lie about the circumstance and they come in here and repeat it. It's a negligence. It's the racism of negligence. Something seems right to you, you just repeat it in the chat. That is precisely the reason why I wanted to fucking see the exact circumstances, because there were people in the chat literally being like, well, he drove into cops. Well, he refused to cooperate after driving into cops. Like he tried to kill cops with his fucking car.
Emphasis of all the discontent by people who live here about what they see as the brutality of the police, about the way that they think that the system has forgotten them, hasn't given them jobs or education, has left them behind in the economy. And that discontent has clearly simmered and boiled over here, driven by the fury
That's awesome.
over the killing of this 17-year-old. The question here in Nanterre and for all of France is whether this discontent will continue or whether it will simmer out. And right now, nobody knows the answer to that.
The video of the shooting exists. You can't see the victim in the situation, but you can see like basically the whole video. This is the moment that a French police officer fired on a car as it drove away from a traffic check in a Paris suburb. I think he like drives away after he's shot at. Yeah. He fires off once the car gets in motion. It's point blank, by the way. I mean, I'll just show it to you. You can't see anything gory, but the shot is fired at point blank range as the car is accelerating a little bit. The cop in the video, as far as I understand, so non-compliance then. Oh, dude. Oh, you're so right. I forgot. You can execute people in cold blood when you're at a traffic stop. Yeah. I didn't realize that that's the world we lived in, where cops can stop you and put a gun to your fucking face and say, I'm going to shoot you in the head, which is what I was about to mention, in which circumstance you get to be killed due to noncompliance. I love when you're such a fucking American bootlicker that you're deciding to defend French boots. Where is your decency? Where is your sense of honesty? Where is your anti-French sentiment? Really? I mean, think about that. Bootlicking as a hobby made you fucking defend French police boots. You're an American. Have a fucking backbone, you pussy. What is this? Apparently, police tried to say the teenager was trying to run them over originally, and then the video came out, it seems. And that's the reason why people are so fucking angry. Because the original narrative was very quickly and intensely falsified by the actual evidence.
Tensions remain high across France tonight after days of protest over the fatal shooting of a teenager by police. The 17-year-old was killed on Tuesday in a Paris suburb during a traffic stop. The officer who fired the shot has been charged now with voluntary homicide. And today, a memorial march led by the victim's mother also ended with violence. 40,000 police are now on alert across the country.
17-year-old Nail's mother led a fired-up crowd in what started as a peaceful protest for her son. But simmering tensions boiled over as people threw projectiles at police who used tear gas.
17 years old, man.
The vigil turning to vandalism for some as cars were again set alight. It's the third day of unrest over Nail's killing. While the officer who shot him has now been charged, some say the problem goes much deeper.
We live in France, which is supposed to mean equality, freedom, fraternity, but that doesn't exist anymore. The police make the rules and do what they want. If they decide to kill someone, they just do it.
I would like it to never happen again. It shouldn't be possible to die like this, for no reason. I wouldn't want it to happen to my own children.
Bro, the amount of times I've told you European fucks keep laughing from over there at America, you're just basically laughing at your own future. I hate to fucking be the bearer of bad news, but that is now. It's here. That fucking corporate brain rot, that hyper-capitalist brain rot that slowly but surely has eroded your own constitutions, your own checks and balances, the pervasive influence of lobbying that I told you was coming to your fucking countries. It's been happening for the past 10 to 20 years. And now you're finally starting to see the worst aspects of it. And get ready, because the other side of it, it's already existed. It's already been in existence in places like Sweden and whatnot, where like any kind of fucking immigration is seen as like the main reason for why societies, any kind of like awful feeling that you have due to existing under this like these crippling conditions, are directly related back to immigration, directly related back to refugees, directly related back to Islam, when it has nothing to do with that at fucking all. So there's that as well. And now you have the police that are supposed to be controlling the population, that are there to protect and control, protect and serve the interests of capital, take carte blanche approaches to wanton violence that is unchecked, unrestricted, and it's gonna get fucking worse.
My eldest is 11. It could be him in 5 years, dying from a gunshot wound. This really needs to stop.
Authorities have struggled for days to control rioters. Protesters have burned a town hall outside the northern city of Lille, with public transport in Paris also targeted. Tram and bus services in several regions have been shut down early.
Maybe there are other ways of discussing this problem, rather than making trouble for people going to work.
The government is deploying 40,000 officers and says it will take a zero-tolerance.
It'll never not be wild to me to see an entire nation in a state of disarray and unrest, with mass mobilization happening in public over one singular teenager being shot at a traffic stop. And of course, I'm not trying to belittle or minimize the violence that you are seeing, but I'm simply an American. So when I see a 17-year-old get shot at a traffic stop, I think, well, that's a Tuesday. Our police force kills 1,000 civilians a year. So it feels wild to see an entire developed Western nation be up in arms for another unarmed killing of a teenager.
Curfews have been announced in some areas on the outskirts of Paris as authorities brace for more fury.
And joining us now from Paris is Linda Givtash, a journalist with the news agency AFP. Linda, the officer involved has now been put under formal investigation. What can you tell us?
People are obviously very upset over the incident over the last 48 hours. There's a lot of emotions running high right now within the community. A young man is dead. The investigation is progressing quite rapidly. The fact that they have had this officer in question already detained, already bringing him to the magistrate's court, there's a lot of progress, really rapid, in the fact that, again, emotions are running high. We're seeing a lot of action on the streets in terms of protests, both peaceful and also violent at times.
They've raised more money for the cop than the kid's mom. If you have any questions, ask away. I'm French. That part is not all too surprising. Racists are racist universally, you know what I mean? And they do the same fucking racist bullshit all around the world. In that moment, that cop is no longer a person. He is a martyr behaving in the way that white supremacists want him to behave. He's acting out his role, his responsibility in the eyes of those racist people, so they're gonna celebrate that.
Yeah, so many protesters are saying that the death of this teenager is just the latest example of systemic racism inside French law enforcement and a culture of impunity. How big of a problem is police violence in France?
I think, keeping in context, just the last few months of this year, not even looking earlier on, we just come off the heels of quite violent protests at times over the pension reform. I'm sure people around the world were paying attention to this. There were a lot of protests on that, and from that also a lot of they bubbled up into violent action. People were injured, many people were arrested. And at that time, there was a lot of criticism over the excessive use of force of police, and that was called to question. And so for this to happen just, months, practically weeks after those incidences where that's already still remains at top of mind for a lot of people here, it's just bringing up that entire question again.
Well, thank you so much for giving us that context. That is Linda Givtash from AFP. Really appreciate your time.
Are you justifying the rioting or no? Thousands of people's properties are being destroyed, whole businesses vandalized, people's livelihood burns down because dumb rioters, people taking advantage of the situation. People don't actually take advantage of riots. People riot because they've been taken advantage of, they've been abused. They literally burned down a public library, bro. Yeah, I mean, they're also burning down fucking, subway cars and shit. Clearly, I'm not in support of either of those things being burned down. Are you stupid? No, if you want to understand my position, I've said this many times over. If you want to stop rioting from happening amongst the citizenry, riots don't happen when citizens are happy. Keep your citizens happy. One very effective method of doing so is not giving cops the legal go-ahead to shoot someone if they are not complying at a traffic stop. It's not gaslighting. It's not gatekeeping. It's not girl bossing. You're just too stupid to understand anything beyond yes or no. To be fair, Parisians are never happy. I mean, I understand why they're not. You're not happy either. The only difference is we don't have the culture or the attitude or the organizational capacity to genuinely do something about it. His judicial file had 15 prior incidents. Those cops probably knew who he was. Dude, I fucking love that, man. That's not true, by the way. That's a lie. He did not have 15 prior incidents, as far as I understand. You just went along with a fucking lie, either because you yourself are racist or you literally know better and you don't care. I don't know if these are American losers trying to defend French police brutality. Wikipedia. Bitch, you can edit shit on Wikipedia. I can't tell if these are amateur French police brutality defenders or if these are American police brutality defenders who have a lot of experience with this sort of thing and are just doing it for the fun of it. So let me explain something to you. Whether you are American or whether you're an American police bootlicker racist or a French police bootlicker racist, I've been here a million times over. Let me explain something to you, you dumbass eco-fascist fuck. That's an overpopulation measure. If there's a culling, never mind, I'm not going to say anything. Oh my God. Idiot. Too much Reddit. Too much fucking Reddit. You read too many threads and you now believe falsehoods like overpopulation is happening or that this guy actually at the age of 17 had 15 prior incidents without ever considering that maybe that's not the case and maybe you were lied to. But let me explain something to you. Cops do not know how many fucking priors you have at a traffic stop. Not only did this kid not have that many priors, not only is the French police not defending these actions, you have taken a role that is further to the right than the French police. But last but not least, even if he had 15 fucking priors, does that give the cops the legal right to kill someone? Because if your answer is yes, I don't know what to tell you, but you came to this conclusion with like 5 faulty premises. You need to believe that 1, that this kid had 15 priors. You need to believe that 2, cops already knew that he had 15 priors. You need to believe that 3, cops should be able to reach the conclusion that he had 15 priors and therefore they are able to fucking kill someone on the spot. How do you think that this is adequate? How do you think that this is an appropriate thing to think? Smile, I said he didn't deserve to die. Yeah, what you're doing is being a gigantic fucking pussy. You're not saying that he deserved to die, but I'm gonna try to imply it as best as I can without actually saying it. Just say it with your fucking chest, pussy. Just say it. You have no fucking repercussions for it. Shortly after his death, an ambulance man, Marone, launched a tirade against a police officer, explaining later that he knew the boy as if he was his little brother. He had seen him grown up as a kind, helpful child. He never lifted, raised a hand to anyone, and he was never violent, he told the reporters. Damn, dude. But Wikipedia said he had 15 priors, dog. Okay. Oh, yeah. You've been consistent on your takes on riot and looting. Yeah, this is 3 years ago. The ambulance people were arrested for threatening the cops, too. That's awesome. That's crazy. A French ambulance worker explodes against the police. You can see he's just a kid. For not having a driver's license, Nanterre will hit the roof. The police arrested him afterwards for allegedly threatening them and inciting hatred.
Vous allez voir, il a 19 ans, tu vois qu'il a une gueule d'enfant. Tu vois qu'il a une gueule d'enfant. Pour un défaut de permis. Pour un défaut de permis, frère. Pour un défaut de permis, frère. Moi, j'ai mes collègues qui étaient là. Je le connais, petit, je l'ai vu grandir. Sa mère, elle a élevé toute seule, son père, il l'a quitté. Elle a enterré son fils. Elle est toute seule. Pour un défaut de permis. Elle se connaît de notaire. Un défaut de permis, on s'en bat les couilles. À l'époque, notaire, il te laissait, il venait te chercher chez toi après quand il te reconnaissait. Notaire, il venait te laisser chercher chez toi. Appelle le PC Julien, un peu partout. On est connus.
Oh, he said, I saw him grow. His father left his mom, raised him alone. Now she's alone. You're known now. They're coming for you. His record of attendance of college was poor. He did not have a criminal record, but he was known to police. He was driving a rental car when the police pulled him over for breaking several road rules. College is the word for school before high school in French. I assume people are about to be like, dude, he missed attendance. Like, why didn't the cops shoot him earlier? What the fuck is going on? Missing attendance at school? Punishable by death, by the way. Fucking Kamala Harris chatters over here. Here.
Set on fire across France.
Now that we know more, we can look at the story.
Of 17-year-old Nael continued into his second night. Enough to force the French president to call an emergency ministerial meeting. But even before nightfall, a protest led by Nael's mother turned violent. Emotions still raw, even as the police officer accused of shooting the teen was...
If it's not the Republic, then what is it? Like, I don't understand. It's the state that executed a child. Oh, no, it wasn't the state, dude. Actually, it was fucking, according to Macron, video games and Snapchat and TikTok. Here it is, France riots. President Macron blames video games for unrest, calls on parents to help, says report. Classic, dude. It is kind of weird and like I said, in a tragic way, kind of funny to see their neoliberals behave exactly like our neoliberals. You know what I mean? In France, we're stealing your racism, hillbilly. Yeah, no, I mean, well, first of all, let's be real. French people pretty much practically invented American racism. Like, what the fuck do you mean we're stealing your racism? You're just getting it back from us. We improved it, and now you're just taking it back. Europeans are the OG racists. They taught Americans how to do it. Americans were European, and then we improved on it, and now you're taking it back. But it is funny. I know you are basically carbon copying like American institutional negligence.
Placed under formal investigation for voluntary homicide. Scuffles breaking out along the margins of the march, some 6,000 strong, according to local media. Anger on the streets of France remains all too palpable, with a family grieving and a community looking for answers as Paris suburbs and much of the country prepare for another difficult night.